not sure if you remembered, but I talked about kind of there's no direction for the story. Hickman, who's supposed to be the head writer, the head of X, doesn't seem to be at all interested in what's going on whatsoever. And then lo and behold, 3 days ago, we learn, and even the local comic book shop, Eric, didn't know this until Alan talked to him about it just a couple days ago. They're doing yet another X-Men relaunch. So we're going to get a fresh new X-Men #1. Yay. That old gag. But what's even more interesting is that Jonathan Hickman will no longer be writing it. Now, ever since House of X Powers of 10 concluded, Jonathan Hickman has been the writer for the main X-Men title. And yeah, that is no longer the case. So what's going to be happening here is, of course, we have Children of the Atom, which we talked about on the last show. Of course, written by Vita Ayala. Then Cy Spurrier with Way of X #1 in April. X-Corp #1 by Teenie Howard in May. Then in June, we're going to get our X Hellfire Gala, which is where we're going to learn, who's going to be the new X-Men team. And then after that, in July, we're going to get X-Men #1, written by Jerry Dugan. So he's currently writing the Marauders, which, by the way, I don't hate. I mean, it's in my pull list, and I haven't taken it out, so don't want to throw shade at him, although others have that I've listened to. Jonathan Hickman has a question mark on what he is writing, and the artist is redacted. So yeah, many speculate that's going to be a Moira X title. And then there's a classified title that's going to be written by Leah Williams. It is the name is classified, but many have already figured out it's going to be called The Druid, based off of Richter. So at this point, the X-Men comic book line has rebooted 3 times in the past 3 years. I don't know what Jordan White, who is basically, well, he is the boss for the X-Men. He's the editor for the X-Men. I don't know what he is doing. I mean, Volsker, when you started getting into this, I mean, Hickman was supposed to be
like the Almighty. It was supposed to be
right,
his vision.
like the Kevin Feige, of the X-Men comic book universe. And what did we get out of it? Okay, House and Powers of 10 was good. Okay, cool. Again, I think it was too much of a stretch. Like, there's still, to me, how do we get to where we were? But I won't go over that again. But outside of that, I mean, what did we get, right? What actual complete storylines did we get? Okay, we learned about the horticulture, and that's the Golden Girls, who in one X-Men issue came, beat the crap out of, Cyclops, Magneto, the White Queen, Emma Frost.
We did learn it's quite easy to blow Xavier's brains out when you're trying.
Yeah. Although that was something that Beast orchestrated in X-Force, but as far as so we got introduced to these Golden Girl characters that were all good with plants. They beat the X-Men up, and okay, they come back. I don't know, 5, 6, 7 issues later. Nothing building up to this, but they come back and they help the X-Men out. Okay.
Honestly, X-Force has been the better one, in my opinion.
I agree. I definitely agree. Benjamin Percy's been doing a good job. Outside of that, I mean, the last, so X-Men 19 here.
Yeah, so the one I just picked up today.
So this is the only other story that really got concluded under Hickman, which was the Children of the Vault.
Is that the logo now?
Yeah, I hate it. It's trash. It's this, that like X symbol. I hate it. So we hear about the Children of the Vault. The Vault is this huge place, this advanced civilization, really deadly place. So what do? They send X-23 Darwin, and Sinkin, because they're the only ones that are going to be able to survive. Like, this place is like acid, basically. I mean, it's not actually acid, but it's like you go into this vault place and you die. Hence why they have to pick a mutant with a healing factor, a mutant that can replicate that healing factor, and a mutant that can basically adapt to survive anything. And then so that was back in like X-Men number 4 or 5 or some shit. And then now here we are, X-Men 19, and we're finally getting the conclusion. So
Well,
outside
don't
of the
forget we
gold,
had to have our dance off and shit first before we could get over here.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. But yeah, other than the Golden
What?
Girls and then the Children of the Vault, like Hickman, people kept telling us, Hickman's long form, it's gonna come around full circle. He hasn't done anything. He's
Yeah.
just done these, peppered in these little bits. And okay, it'd be okay if they actually came to some sort of crescendo, but they're not, and he's not even going to be on the main book anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Well, I mean, maybe that's why they want to reboot, because the shit is trash and they know it.
Yeah, to answer your question, Jay, with the dance off was my joke to the the swords event where they were supposed to get all the swords to battle to the death, and there was only like 2 fights. There was dance offs. Some were just getting married. Some were doing arm wrestling. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't even a tournament.
Yeah.
It was stupid.
So inconsequential. I mean, so. And you're right, Jay. It could be. In fact, I've even heard it mentioned, and this doesn't make much sense to me, but so Hickman's whole idea of Moira McTaggart dying and reincarnating and rebooting the universe, it was called out a couple years ago that there was actually a book that was very similar to that. Okay, reincarnation is a trope. I get it.
Like a novel?
Right, yeah. Where this lady or something had like 15 lives. But
like all fiction,
yeah.
all fiction recycles fiction. I don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly. But some have speculated that because the similarities have been called out, that they have kind of decided to abort. So I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna stick around, but
he still wouldn't be on though. Like he's writing something, so they wouldn't keep him on if they were going to just reboot everything.
They're like, what's this town called? What's this town called? Jaria. All right, cool. He called it Jaria. There you go.
Right.
Pam, give me $17. There you go, Hickman. You get $17 and a voucher at the snack machine. Fuck out my office.
Right. Yeah, so it looks like he's going to be able to continue his story, but, I've heard that it's going to be more X. I've heard that he could actually be bringing Uncanny X-Men back, which I'll give it my vote. That's cool.
Like maybe have him go back and fill in that time period that you question.
I don't know, something. I mean, but it would be cool to be back, because I'm a 90s kid, and back then we had X-Men and the Uncanny X-Men, which was the X-Men Blue team and the X-Men Gold team. So if we got back to a place where it was X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, I'd be cool with that. But just real disappointed that, this supposedly genius world builder of a writer just didn't give us nothing. I'll just be honest with you. I mean, the Powers of X, Powers of 10, House of X, all that was very cool. But the whole Dawn of X, it was botched. And here we go again. X-Men are back with Disney, so there's no reason to shit on them in the comics. And I just don't know what Jordan Howard's doing. I don't think you're a good boss, buddy. Or Jordan White. I'm sorry. I don't know. You need to get the shit together. You just need to.
Do you think maybe this has anything to do with Feige overseeing everything now? Because remember, this was already in place when Feige got promoted to oversee everything.
It's possible. I mean, it maybe. I just want to get back to a place where we can have a cohesive story to read about, and we haven't had that.
That's what you got the movies for.
I mean, yeah, that's really what it seems like they're doing. They're just like throwing shit at the wall in comics, seeing what sticks, and then saying, okay, we'll put that one on the back burner for a movie later. I don't even think I'm calling for a good story. I'm just thinking, can you give me something I can follow? Like, can we get back with Orcus? Something? I mean, remember when Colossus's brother stole the Cerebro sword? That was like 6 months ago at this point. Like, and remember the whole hook was that, well, the whole hook of that is if they learn how to access the information that is now in that sword, because it was one of Xavier's Cerebro helmets made into a sword, like they're fucked. He'll have all the information he wants about the mutants. But again, we haven't even touched any point of that story, I guess.
Yeah,
So,
it's pretty bad.
so I mean, I'm an advocate for comics, guys, but I'll be honest with you. It can be tough sometimes. It can be tough.
Telling you, as much as we joke and poke fun at like DC's Marvels, but in terms of their comics, I was talking to you about this before the show. Like when you do trade backs and stuff, you get chronological order, you get the story. When it comes to like reading like the shit I do with Batman and then the small indie comics, the House of X, Powers of 10, I really enjoyed starting with those, but now I honestly it sucks. Like I appreciate building that knowledge of X-Men and getting to know the characters more, but it's a shit show.
Omega Level Nerd D Square here. I hope you enjoyed this little excerpt from our show, the Omega Level Nerds podcast. I really do appreciate you checking us out. If you like what you watched today, then please check us out. There is the link to the whole entire show, over an hour's worth of some nerdy goodness for you. So definitely hope you check it out. Well, thank you very much. As always, peace and love. We'll talk to you again soon.